In at number 10, Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is best known for his work in Face Off, Leaving Las Vegas, and The Rock. As of May 2017, reports say that his net worth was in the area of, $25 million. This, however, was because he took any job that came his way after accumulating a ton of debt. Cage had many homes, cars, and even rare artifacts. By 2015, though, reports started coming out that he had lost everything. From 1996 to 2011, Nick had spent $150 million. Thanks to missing a tax bill in 2007, Cage also had to pay the IRS more than $6 million. Now that his time in the sun has passed though, he's not getting anywhere close to the money that he was early on in his career. In at number 9, Stephen Baldwin. Not every Baldwin brother can be as successful as Alec, and for Stephen, this must really be annoying considering how he just lost everything. Stephen Baldwin is best known for his roles in The Usual Suspects, Biodome, and Fred Claus, where he just plays himself, because why not? However, by 2009, Stephen had filed for bankruptcy while still owing back taxes on a couple of different mortgages, a trend that would continue to haunt the Baldwin brother. After missing mortgage payments for 6 years, his house was foreclosed in 2017. Then on a different occasion altogether, he was arrested and forced to serve 5 years probation for not paying his taxes for 3 straight years. That's a bad Baldwin. You've been a bad Baldwin. In at number 8, Kim Basinger. Kim is known for her roles in LA Confidential, Batman as Vicky Vale, and Wayne's World 2. Although in 1989, Basinger made some questionable decisions with her money. I'm not even joking, she bought the town of Braselton, Georgia for $20 million. She had an enormous amount of plans for this as well that included things such as a theme park or even a movie studio to just bring in tourism. However, by the time 1993 rolled around, she was so buried in debt that she had to declare bankruptcy and sell the property. Meaning the whole town. She had to sell the town. Not only that, but she was also sued by the producer for boxing Helena for backing out of her contract to star in the film. Yikes. In at number 7, Burt Reynolds. Back in the day, old Bertie Boy was the king of TV and film. He was the star of hit shows like Gunsmoke and even had a successful movie career from his role in Smokey and the Bandit. Although he admitted to Vanity Fair in 2015 that his spending had gotten out of control. He said, "I've lost more money than is possible because I just haven't watched it." And boy oh boy did he not watch his money. Burt Reynolds spent his movie star cash on real estate, a private jet, 150 horses, oh yeah, and over $100,000 in toupees. I don't know what's crazier though, the toupees or the 150 horses. And due to his fame dwindling away, his checks were getting lower and lower for appearances, and by 1996 he couldn't pay CBS back the $3.7 million loan that they gave him, and then he just declared bankruptcy while still being over $10 million in debt. Who's managing this guy's money? In at number 6, Brendan Fraser. When you think of Brendan Fraser, the first thing that comes to mind is the Mummy trilogy, and throughout the 1990s and into the early 2000s, Fraser was starring in many hit films. Unfortunately, his movie career came to a stop when he began finding himself in and out of hospitals for nearly 7 years. Brendan had to undergo several spine surgeries as well as have a partial knee replacement. Then, on top of all of that, he had to go get repairs done on his vocal cords. He was known for being an energetic character in his action films, but with so many injuries and health problems plaguing him, this posed a serious threat to the way that he made his money. And after his divorce from Afton Smith, his bank account was drained even further, and thanks to the way that the divorce system works in the US, his alimony payments were based on what he used to make. So he was forced to pay over $900,000 a year in alimony, even though it was more than his current annual income. Yeah, if you want to figure out how that math works, leave me a comment down below. In at number 5, Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is a prime example to bring up whenever someone tries to tell you that you don't need to pay taxes, and boy did the IRS sure make an example out of him. The actor's portrayal of the vampire hunter Blade boosted his career into the stratosphere, although reportedly someone close to Wesley told him that taxation was theft and therefore he didn't need to pay it. He listened to this person and was charged after not filing proper tax returns for 6 years. Additionally, he filed fraudulent returns that would bring him close to $12 million in tax refunds. And come 2006, he was filing for bankruptcy, and in 2008 he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for his crimes. In at number 4, Gary Busey. Before he made the move to reality television, Gary Busey was an A-list actor. During the 1970s, he was in more than 70 films, including a breakout role in the Buddy Holly story. Although with great success comes great responsibility, and Gary just wasn't ready for it. By 2012, Gary was down to his last $50,000 after developing a crippling drug addiction over the years. It was that year though that Busey also filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and along with that he also owed a ton of money to creditors and to the IRS. And once he started appearing on episodes of Celebrity Rehab though, it was safe to say that he truly did lose everything. In at number 3, Lindsay Lohan. Beginning as a child actor, Lindsay Lohan's breakout role started in the Disney 1998 remake of The Parent Trap. Later on in her career, she would get even more fame and notoriety for the success of Mean Girls. She seemed destined for long-term success. Unfortunately, that all began to crumble as her spending habits became increasingly expensive and legal trouble started coming her way. At 18 years old, she was worth over $30 million, and much like Gary though, Lohan had started a terrible drug habit that was costing her nearly $5,000 a week. Then, between 2007 and 2013, she was arrested a few times. She was arrested for a DUI, reckless driving, just random altercations, and even shoplifting. Where are your parents? In at number 2, Johnny Depp, or should we say Johnny Det. This one hurts a lot. According to Rolling Stone's profile on the actor, Depp has made $650 million on films that netted $3.6 billion. So he made a lot of that money. And now, almost all of that is gone. Some of it is partially Depp's fault for spending a lot of it on things like an island and other ridiculous mansions that he wanted, but Johnny believes that most of his money was lost due to poor management. He's suing the management group that is run by his longtime business manager as well as his brother Robert for negligence. The lawsuit says that under his management's watch, his sister was given $7 million and Depp's assistant was given $750,000, all without his knowledge. On top of all of that legal trouble, Amber Heard had also accused him of abuse that shattered any hope of acting in future projects. I mean, even the Pirates of the Caribbean was like, yeah, we're gonna take a break, bro. Although thankfully a leaked tape cleared Depp of any wrongdoing, but it's still going to take him a long time to work his way back to the top. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Gary Coleman. Gary's story is one of the saddest stories in Hollywood. Gary Coleman was a child star that made $70,000 per episode for the show Diff'rent Strokes. In the 1980s, this was amazing money. Today, that's around $218,000 per episode. It's good money. However, by 1986, the show had come to an end, and unfortunately for Gary, his adopted parents and business advisor had severely mismanaged his money. Eventually, he won in a settlement against his parents, but it wasn't enough to keep him going. He then couldn't find any more work in Hollywood, and in 1999 he filed for bankruptcy. Then, to make matters even worse for poor Gary, he got a job as a security guard but kept getting recognized and teased for just trying to live out a normal life. Rest in peace, Gary Coleman. In at number 10, Randy Quaid.
The latest on Randy Quaid. The Oscar-nominated actor and his wife in jail this morning after being arrested at the Canadian border in Vermont. They are charged with running away from vandalism charges in California 5 years ago.
No, Randy Quaid is not preparing for some big role as the next Santa Claus. That is simply what happens when you go on the run from law enforcement for 5 years. Randy and his wife insisted that they were being hunted down by a group called the Hollywood Star Whackers, which, side note, if you're looking to start a band, there's your new name. He has repeatedly told news outlets that this group may have killed Heath Ledger and is trying to sabotage them as well. Although that wasn't the only thing that caused him to flee the United States. Randy and his wife tried to claim refugee status in Canada after declaring bankruptcy. However, the couple was arrested in 2009 after being accused of defrauding an inn in Santa Barbara. A warrant was also put out for their arrest after they skipped a few court appearances for charges of breaking into the home that they once owned. Apparently, they were squatting in the guest house without the new owner's permission. In at number 9, Natasha Lyonne. Her breakthrough into acting came at the age of 7 years old when Natasha became a regular on the show Pee-wee's Playhouse. Following that, in her late teens, Lyonne was booking acting jobs at an enormous pace. Her biggest role though was when she booked the movie American Pie. For a little while after that though, Natasha was in a horrible place. First there was the drunk driving arrest, then as the roles and interest started to fade away, reports were coming out that the star was now homeless. Additionally, she had been hospitalized with some very serious health issues that included hepatitis C, a heart infection, a collapsed lung, and methadone treatment, something that is typically only used for people who are addicted to heroin. Thankfully, she has made a complete 180 with new roles in shows like Orange is the New Black, and Natasha seems to be making a big comeback. but for a while wasn't looking so great. In at number 8, Brett Butler. Brett is an American actress and stand-up comedian that is mostly known for her role in the comedy series Grace Under Fire. Before the show started, Butler had already been 7 years sober, but once the big money started rolling in, she relapsed and lost everything.
Afraid of alcohol. I was taking pain pills and doing cocaine, and I'm a Jedi apparently, because I could take enormous amounts of it.
How much Vicodin?
After her show was cancelled, she moved from LA to a farm in Georgia where she resided with 15 pets. It's a lot of animals. But then when the money started to run out, she ultimately ended up in a homeless shelter. In at number 7, Margot Kidder. First things first, rest in peace Margot Kidder. She was the first famous Lois Lane starring in the early Christopher Reeve Superman films. According to Daily Finance, Margot is battling schizophrenia as well as manic depression.
She was vulnerable, suffering from mental illness, as she told Diane Sawyer.
I could have gotten better years and years ago, I think, if had I the courage to face that something was wrong.
As you saw, Margot said she knew something was wrong but repeatedly refused help and treatment. Her career started to fall apart because of this, and before long she was sleeping in cardboard boxes in whatever LA backyard that she could find. A woman who found Margot in her backyard said that upon approaching Kidder, she was missing her front teeth and her hair had been sort of hacked off. And when asked what she was doing there, Margot apparently told the Glendale resident, "I may not look like it, but I'm Margot Kidder." Yikes. In at number 6, Danny Bonaducci. Danny was a child star with his big role coming on the show The Partridge Family. At the time he was 11 years old and suddenly he was now starring in a hit television series. At the end of the show though, Danny had descended into drug abuse and homelessness. During an episode of his radio show in 1997, the actor admitted that for a while he was living in his car behind the Chinese theater, while at the same time he would have people approaching him for autographs, like while he was sleeping in his car. Earlier in 1990 he was arrested for attempting to buy cocaine in Florida, and then the next year he was arrested again on charges of robbing and beating a transvestite prostitute in Arizona.
You get what you deserve if you break the law, and if I'm pointing my finger at myself this time, they turned on the news really loud about me being in jail.
In at number 5, David Cassidy.
With you anymore, Dad. I don't know who you are now. That broke my heart. I can't even tell you the effect it had on me.
Again, I have to say this, rest in peace to David Cassidy. Danny isn't the only member of the Partridge Family cast that seemingly lost it all once the show ended. David Cassidy, who played Keith Partridge, had a promising career not only as an actor but as a musician as well. The 70s heartthrob had sold over 25 million records in the height of his career, but in 2015 had to file for bankruptcy. With a history of DUIs, 3 divorces, and various health problems, David had to put his mansion up for auction just to finance his final divorce. The really sad thing with this case is that a year after his death, a leaked audio recording came out where you can hear David admitting to lying about having dementia and going on to say that his health issues were a result of alcohol addiction. In at number 4, Aaron Carter. Despite being known for his music career, Aaron Carter also did a fair bit of acting early on in his career. The teen pop star though had quickly squandered the $100 million fortune that he had built after his parents had mismanaged his money. Because of this, he was put in a terrible situation when he turned 18. When he became of legal age, he was hit with a bevy of taxes owed and had to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy after being over $100,000 in debt and owing somewhere in the ballpark of $4 million in back taxes. In at number 3, Willie Ames. I genuinely feel awful for the lives that these child stars had to go through, and Willie is no different. The former Gunsmoke star opened up during an interview in 2017 where he said that a series of poor choices mixed with drug abuse is what led to him sleeping on the streets. He said, "At one point I went from eating at the White House to sleeping in the bushes and brought myself back again." An episode of Oprah's Where Are They Now showed us that after battling addiction and homelessness, he got a job as a cruise ship director.
The guests recognize me all the time. The guests recognize me about 60 to 70% of the time. And it's really nice when they do. It's a great way to be able to welcome everyone on board.
At the peak of his career on the show 8 is Enough, Willie was making a little over $1 million per year. Then suddenly, there was no job, no bank account, no wife, no child, and just like that, it all went away. Thankfully, he looks like he's doing much better now working for the cruise ships. In at number 2, Corey Haim. Sadly, again, and this is the last time that I have to do this, rest in peace to Corey Haim. Corey was born in Toronto, Ontario, and broke into the world of acting in 1984 as a child in the film Moving In. His breakthrough role would come later in 1987 when he played a major role in the Lost Boys film. However, 10 years after that film, he was filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection after citing that he owed over $200,000 in state and federal taxes. When he passed away in 2010 from pneumonia, he was living with his mother in an Oakwood apartment building. He was broke and his career was very destitute, to the point where he was even trying to sell a tooth and some of his hair on eBay just for the extra cash. It really makes you, that's the only way I can explain it. It just makes you go, ugh. Last but not least, in our number one spot, Pamela Anderson. When you hear the name Pamela Anderson, your next thought is usually Baywatch. That show skyrocketed her career and became one of the most watched TV shows of all time, largely because of Pam Anderson. It was watched by over 1 billion people around the world every single week, but much like the Partridge Family though, all good things come to an end, and so did Baywatch. Once that attention started to disappear, so did her asking power for more money on future projects. As the money dried up, Anderson was forced to live in a trailer park with her 2 sons because she couldn't keep up the payments on the multiple homes that she had purchased. Thanks to issues with the IRS in 2012, 2 tax liens were made against her Malibu home which forbid her from selling it. The first lien stated that she owed nearly $260,000 in unpaid taxes from 2011, and the second lien from the state of California cited that she owed them over $110,000 for the same year. Not only that, but in 2009, she made the California top 500 delinquent taxpayers list, owing the IRS $1.7 million in unpaid taxes.
Coming in at number 10, Donald Trump. We're starting off strong with this list. President Donald Trump regarded his business experience as one of the main reasons he was the right choice for president. Well, however, while Trump has never declared bankruptcy, his companies have gone bankrupt 6 times. The first was in 1991 when his Trump Taj Mahal casino in Atlantic City went bust. Several more went bankrupt in 1992 and 2 more went down in 2004 and 2009. Following the final bankruptcy, Trump stepped down as chairman of Trump Entertainment Resorts and reduced his share in the business to just 10%. To quote Trump himself, "I've cut debt. By the way, this isn't me personally, it's a company. Basically, I've used the laws of the country to my advantage, just as many others on top of the business world have." Sure, Jan, sure. Coming in at number 9, Kim Basinger. Kim Basinger is an actress, singer, and former fashion model. She even won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in LA Confidential back in 1997. However, following the peak of her success, the actress found herself in dire financial straits after she backed out on an agreement to appear in the film Boxing Helena and was in turn ordered to pay $8.1 million to Mainline Pictures as a result. This ultimately led Basinger to declare bankruptcy. Among the assets that were liquidated was the town of Braselton, Georgia, a tiny town which she and other investors had bought with the idea of turning it into a tourist attraction. Her share of the town was eventually sold. Coming in at number 8, 50 Cent. 50 Cent is a singer, songwriter, rapper, actor, television producer, entrepreneur, and investor. The star broke out as a rapper in the late 1990s, but he seems to make most of his money from a diverse business empire. In 2015, 50 Cent was reportedly $32 million in debt while caught up in lawsuits and unpaid child support, and in 2016 he declared bankruptcy. In 2018, reports stated that 50 Cent was all of a sudden a millionaire again because of the 700 bitcoins he was reportedly paid on his 2014 album. However, the singer later reported that these rumors weren't true and that he has never owned bitcoins in his life. Coming in at number 7, Larry King. Larry King is a television and radio host whose work has been recognized with awards including 2 Peabodys, an Emmy Award, and 10 Cable ACE Awards. You would think the TV personality would be set for life, right? Well, you're not completely wrong. For a period of time though, particularly in the 70s, King wasn't doing so hot. Even when he was given his own talk show, the money didn't seem to last considering how many times he was married and then divorced. Alimony payments of course took a toll on the star, leaving him close to penniless. As of right now, he is doing a lot better, but he's still not doing as well as you would expect. Coming in at number 6, Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson is a musician, actor, and activist, best known for Red-Headed Stranger and Stardust. However, However, Willie has not been playing by the rules. Unlike most of our list, was avoiding federal taxes, and the IRS came knocking, looking for $16.7 million, including interest and penalty fees. He managed to negotiate the bill down to $6 million, but Nelson still couldn't pay the fine, so in 1990, the IRS raided his home and seized almost everything he owned, including 20 properties and most of his instruments. Who needs 20 properties? I just need one. Nelson ended up recording the IRS tapes Who Will Buy My Memories, and fans in turn organized fundraisers to help the singer out of his debt. With the help of the tapes, he managed to pay off most of the debt, which is amazing. Wish someone could pay my debt. But no, I'm not Willie Nelson, am I? Coming in at 5, Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson is an actress, model, and animal rights activist, best known for her appearance in Playboy magazine, as well as for her work on the television series Home Improvement and Baywatch. After her long career and cameos she's had throughout those years, you would have thought Pamela would be set for life, at least a little bit. However, that is not the case. From the plastic surgeries to her expensive home and party lifestyle, she quickly became noticed by the IRS for failing to pay her taxes. Classic. This in turn put the actress in a huge amount of debt for a while before she slowly began to climb her way back out. People pay taxes, it's not that hard, especially if you're making millions. Get a savings account, put some money in it, and then you don't have to worry. Coming in at 4, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser is an actor best known for playing Rick O'Connell in the Mummy trilogy, as well as for starring in works such as George of the Jungle, Looney Tunes, and Journey to the Center of the Earth. However, the actor has seemingly disappeared, not just from Hollywood, but from the public eye in general. Although he did star in the action series Doom Patrol. For a period of time, you would have thought that Fraser was overloaded with cash. Unfortunately, Hollywood will barely touch him now. And as of right now, he has to take anything that comes his way just to pay child support, because as of right now, the actor is extremely broke. I'm sorry, Brendan. That sucks. Coming in at number 3, Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is an actor, director, producer, martial artist, and author who is known for works such as White Men Can't Jump, Demolition Man, and of course the Blade trilogy, in which he plays Blade. He's also all seemed to be going well for Snipes until he decided not to pay his taxes, which amounted to $12 million owing to the IRS. Snipes ended up serving his time for tax evasion up until 2013, and since then has only starred in a handful of notable action flicks, including The Expendables 3. Rumor has it this was actually a favor from Sylvester Stallone. What a good friend. Coming in at number 2, Courtney Love. Courtney Love is a singer, songwriter, and actress known for being the lead singer of her band Hole, which she formed back in 1989. I loved the band. However, over the years, Love has drawn public attention for her uninhibited live performances and confrontational lyrics, as well as her highly publicized personal life following her marriage to Kurt Cobain. Gone too soon, RIP. Of course, Cobain was considered a god among musicians back in the day, and in turn Love profited off of that fame. A serious drug problem and overspending led to major financial woes for the singer, which forced her to sell the rights to the Nirvana songs she'd gained a stake in, as well as her house. Not to mention, there are a ton of conspiracy theories surrounding the singer that she had some involvement in the death of the Nirvana frontman. And finally, coming in at number 1, Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is known for some of Hollywood's biggest movies, including Peggy Sue Got Married, Raising Arizona, Moonstruck, starring Cher, Face Off, and Con Air. You would think he would be rolling in those big Hollywood paychecks, however that doesn't appear to be the case. According to Forbes magazine, Cage earned $40 million in 2009, making him one of Hollywood's highest paid actors. Unfortunately, it seems that Cage has an issue with spending, as well as an equally hefty problem with his financial advisor. After Cage faced foreclosure on several properties and the IRS came for him looking for $6.2 million, Cage sued his advisor, claiming negligence and fraud. However, in a countersuit, Cage's manager alleged that the actor had blown through at least $33 million on vintage cars, 4 luxury yachts, and 15 homes around the world. Again, no one needs 15 homes. You need one. Okay? Just get one big one. The lawsuits have been settled, but it seems that Cage is still trying to fix his financial woes, with the actor currently trying to unload several properties, including a chalet in Colorado and an entire island in the Bahamas. Who needs a whole island? No one. I don't even like the beach. Coming in at 10, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan is an actress, singer, songwriter, businesswoman, fashion designer, and film producer, best known for roles such as Mean Girls, The Parent Trap, and Freaky Friday. Now, although her wild child days are behind her, for now, Lohan still seems to be spending lengthy vacations on the Mediterranean, which is bizarre considering she has a net worth of just $500,000. A lot of money for us, but quick spending money for an actor. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Lohan skirted close to bankruptcy, but posing for Playboy and sitting down with with Oprah allegedly pulled her back into the green. For now. Coming in at 9, MC Hammer. MC Hammer is a rapper, dancer, record producer, and entrepreneur. He had his greatest commercial success and popularity from the late 1980s until the early 1990s, with most knowing him for the smash hit You Can't Touch This and Too Legit to Quit. During the 80s and 90s, MC Hammer garnered a huge fortune, putting 200 people on his payroll, buying a huge mansion, as well as a slew of other luxuries. And of course, following his spending spree, he was forced to file for bankruptcy by 1996, owing $13 million. He then went on to rebrand himself as a minister. Big moves. Coming in at 8, Gary Busey. Gary Busey is an actor known for work such as Lethal Weapon, Predator 2, Point Break, Under Siege, The Firm, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and so much more. For portraying Buddy Holly in the Buddy Holly story back in 1978, Busey was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor. Not too shabby. However, in 1988 he was involved in a serious motorcycle accident that left him with significant brain damage when he was just 44 years old. Following the incident though, he continued to book jobs and is perhaps one of the most prolific actors in Hollywood. So it may be shocking to hear that Busey is only worth around $500,000 today, which is yes, again, a lot of money for us, but not a lot for such a successful actor. Coming in at 7, Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton is a singer, songwriter, pianist, record producer, actress, television personality, and philanthropist. She has sold over 67 million records worldwide, including 41 million albums, making her one of the highest selling female R&B artists in history, even winning 5 Grammys along the way. She ultimately grossed around $170 million for her albums, but only made around $5 million, less than a 3% profit. Unlike many celebrities who mismanage money, she owed millions to managers, lawyers, and banks, and has been in debt ever since. Coming in at 6, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is a retired professional basketball player who once played for the Detroit Pistons, San Antonio Spurs, Chicago Bulls, LA Lakers, and Dallas Mavericks in the NBA. He was nicknamed The Worm and was famous for his fierce defensive and rebounding abilities. Like many of the stars on our list, he had a huge problem with spending and was in the red for most of his career until recently actually. He now has a net worth of around $500,000, which is good considering he was ordered to pay $500,000 in back child support to his ex-wife in 2000. Probably in the green because he's friends with Kim Jong-un, which is weird. Coming in at 5, Sinbad. Sinbad is a stand-up comedian and actor known for movies such as Necessary Roughness, House Guest, First Kid, Jingle All the Way, and Good Burger. He reached peak fame in the 90s, however he was ultimately forced to file for bankruptcy twice. The second time this happened he owed around $11 million, most of which were due to back taxes. Always the case with celebrities, just pay your taxes. However, the comedian seemed to have no regrets and said he would never take back his spending habits, even telling Oprah he invested in me. To each their own, I guess. Coming in at 4, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is a Hollywood legend and has been nominated for 10 Golden Globe Awards, winning 1 for Best Actor for his performance of the title role in Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, which is a joke considering that film was It's the only DVD I threw in the bin. He is regarded as one of the world's biggest film stars, appearing in works such as 21 Jump Street, Finding Neverland, Donnie Brasco, and Edward Scissorhands. As you would expect, the actor garnered a lot, and I mean a lot of money. However, it was his spending that would eventually be his undoing. Depp filed a lawsuit against his management company, blaming them for his financial woes. In March 2016, Depp cut ties with his management company and accused them of improperly managing his money. They later went on to sue Depp for unpaid fees and countersued him for damages, alleging that Depp was responsible for his own fiscal mismanagement. In July 2018, Depp was sued yet again, this time for allegedly punching a crew member twice in the ribs during a foul-mouthed tirade. Court documents stated that the actor reeked of alcohol and took drugs on set. No surprise there. He's also a woman beater. Don't hire him. Coming in at 3, Billy Joel. Billy Joel is a singer-songwriter, composer, and pianist. Commonly nicknamed the Piano Man, he is famous for songs such as Vienna, Piano Man, and Only the Good Die Young. His music is iconic and remains popular even today. However, Billy Joel was forced to file for bankruptcy 3 times due to financial and relationship troubles. Due to 3 divorces and a brother-in-law who mismanaged his money, he ended up owing around $90 million, forcing the singer to go on tour to try and reclaim some of his fortune. fortune. Highly doubt he's gonna get that money back. Coming in at 2, Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper is a singer, songwriter, and actress with a career that has spanned over 40 years. She is famous for songs such as Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, Time After Time, She Bop, and All Through the Night, with Lauper earning the Best New Artist award at the 27th Grammy Awards back in 1985. Since then, Lauper has released over 11 studio albums and participated in many other projects. However, like the rest of the celebrities on our list, she encountered major money problems early on. Her band's first album tanked, and her manager in turn sued them for $80,000, resulting in Lauper filing for bankruptcy and taking a job at The Gap. She managed to turn things around though, but in recent years the success has left her, as well as the money. And the fans. Though she's friends with Cher, and that says a lot. I could tell you all of Cher's friends. And finally coming in at number 1, Meatloaf. Meatloaf is a singer and actor famous for music such as Bat Out of Hell, I'd Do Anything for Love, as well as movies such as Fight Club and of course the Rocky Horror Picture Show. More than 40 years after its release, Bat Out of Hell still sells an estimated 200,000 copies annually and stayed on the charts for over 9 years, making it one of the best-selling albums in history. So saying that, you would expect the singer to be raking in money, right? Well, apparently not. His issues arose when he failed to give proper credit to the guy who helped him out with I Would Do Anything for Love, with the co-writer suing Meatloaf and nearly bankrupting him back in the 1980s. From that point on, the singer wrote all of his own material and has made somewhat of a comeback, but he never quite recovered from the huge loss of earnings.